It started with a buzz. Not my phone. His. I was cooking dinner, garlic, lemon, white wine. He was in the shower, singing off-key like always. And his phone buzzed twice on the kitchen counter. I glanced. No lock screen. I shouldn't have looked. But I did. And there it was. I miss the way you touched me last night. Can't wait for Thursday. No name. Just a heart emoji. I didn't breathe. Didn't blink. Instead, I smiled. Because I wasn't surprised. Because I already knew. And I'd been waiting. I'd found the second phone 2 months ago. Hidden under the driver's seat. Burner model. Cheap. Functional. Nothing a man like Marcus would ever use, unless he had something to hide. The first message I read was from someone named M. The second message was about me. The third was about what he'd do if I ever found out. Don't worry. She's clueless. That's what he said. So I stayed clueless. I played dumb. I cooked dinner. I kissed his cheek. I asked him about his meetings. And every night, while he slept, I made copies. Photos. Contacts. Transcripts. GPS data. I wasn't heartbroken. I was building a case. You're quiet tonight, he said over dinner. I looked up from my glass. Just tired. Work? He reached for my hand. I let him. I even smiled. You've been amazing lately, he said. I've really noticed. I know, I said. He didn't notice the pause before I spoke. He never notices the pauses. The next day, I called the number. Blocked, of course. She picked up on the third ring. Young voice. Soft. Curious. Hello? Hi, I said. This is Lila. Marcus's wife. Silence. I waited. She didn't hang up. Instead, she said something unexpected. I didn't know he was married. I almost laughed. Of course you didn't. Wait, this isn't a prank? No. A breath. I swear, he told me he was divorced. Do you believe him now? She didn't answer. Do you love him? I asked. Another pause. I thought I did. Good, I said. Then I need your help. We met in a coffee shop. Neutral territory. Middle of the afternoon. No makeup. No heels. Just two women with the same bad taste in men. She walked in looking nervous, but curious. Light brown hair. Soft eyes. Younger than me by at least 8 years. She scanned the room like she wasn't sure if she should actually be there. I raised a hand. She froze when she saw me. I didn't look like how Marcus described me. I could tell. You're not what I expected, she said as she sat down. Good, I replied. I was hoping for that. She folded her hands in her lap, avoiding my eyes. What's your name? I asked. Sophie. Of course it was. He always liked soft-sounding names. Girls who looked like they needed protecting. I'm not here to scream at you, Sophie. She looked up, surprised. You're not? No. That would be pointless. You didn't betray me. He did. She swallowed hard. Then why am I here? I leaned in. Because I want to end him. Quietly. Beautifully. Without giving him the satisfaction of knowing who pulled the trigger. Her eyes widened. You mean, metaphorically, right? I smiled. For now. We started with the passwords. She gave me everything, the name he used for hotel reservations, the secret email, the PayPal history. I didn't have to ask twice. He told me you were cold, she said. Of course he did. He said you stopped sleeping with him. He stopped earning it. She looked embarrassed. I didn't care. Why are you helping me? I asked her, finally. She hesitated. Then, because I feel stupid. Because he lied. Because when I told him I wanted more, he said he was working on the divorce. I tilted my head. And you believed him? I wanted to. Then we're not so different, I said. That night, I cooked again. I always cook when I'm planning something terrible. Something about chopping vegetables calms the storm. He came home late. Again. Kissed me on the cheek. Said, long meeting. I didn't say a word. Instead, I poured him a drink. Sat across from him. Watched him. He didn't notice the tension. Or the shift in my eyes. Men like Marcus never see the storm before it hits. They think silence is submission. But my silence? It was the sound of the fuse. 2 weeks later, it began. Small things, first. A forwarded email he thought he deleted. A charge on his card for flowers he never gave me. A woman's earring in the glove compartment, one I borrowed from Sophie and left there, carefully, in plain view. He found it. I watched him pretend he didn't. Where'd you go today? I asked as I poured his coffee. Work. I stirred my own cup. You smell like Chanel, mademoiselle. He froze. I didn't look up. Let the silence do the work. Next, the business trip. He told me he'd be in Chicago. 4 nights. Back Sunday. I knew better. He booked a suite under the name Michael Gray. A lie he used often. Sophie gave me everything, flight info, hotel, even the fake number he texted her from. I smiled when I saw the reservation. I need a break, I told him the night before. From what? I let the pause stretch. You, I said. Then laughed like it was a joke. He laughed too. Nervously. While he was gone, I emptied the safe. Birth certificates. Titles. Jewelry he bought me when he cheated the first time. Everything valuable, sentimental or not, gone by Friday morning. By Friday night, I was in the hotel lobby. Wearing sunglasses. Hair tucked into a sleek black bun. Watching him check in. He looked relaxed. Confident. Arrogant. I watched him kiss her in the elevator. Like I never existed. Like I wasn't holding the match in my hand, ready to burn the entire theater down. Saturday morning, Sophie called me. I did it, she whispered. I left while he was in the shower. The burner phone's in the drawer, right where he hides it. Just like you said. You're sure he won't notice? He never notices anything. Good girl, I said. I'll take care of the rest. I checked into the suite next door. Used the second key Sophie lifted from his bag. Opened the door just enough to slip inside. Quiet. Surgical. No emotion. I didn't even look at them in the bed. I went for the drawer. The burner phone was there, glowing softly. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. I swapped it for the identical one I bought 2 weeks earlier, same model, same case, same scratches, preloaded with exactly what I wanted the police to see. Fake texts. Fake photos. A very real Google search history. And one video that would destroy him if anyone ever hit play. I walked out without looking back. He had no idea what I just did. And he wouldn't, not until it was too late. Sunday morning. I'm waiting in the living room. Coffee cup in hand. The door clicks open, and there he is, walking in like nothing's changed, like he doesn't know everything is already over. He stops short when he sees the look on my face. That moment where he realizes something's wrong but doesn't know exactly what yet. I smile. Good trip? I ask. Yeah, he says, tossing his keys on the counter. I'm Marcus, I interrupt, voice sweet. Where's your phone? His eyes flick to the coffee table, where his usual phone sits, untouched. He doesn't even register that the other phone isn't there. I sit back, watching him. The weight of the truth has settled into my bones. I'm not nervous. I'm not angry. I'm calm. It's almost enjoyable. I think you lost it, Lila, he says, brushing past me toward the kitchen. But I stop him with a question that feels like a shot through the chest. Did you think I was blind? He freezes, and the last thread of confidence he had unravels. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about, I say softly. The hotel. The burner phone. The lies. He laughs, but it's tight, forced. This is crazy. You're really doing this? You've been doing it for years, Marcus. You think I didn't notice? You think I didn't hear the way you'd talk about me when you didn't know I was listening? His face tightens. But he doesn't yell. He doesn't get defensive. Not this time. He's afraid. I can see it in the way his hands tremble as he reaches for his glass of water. You've been playing a long game, haven't you? I ask. He doesn't answer. I should thank you, I continue, leaning forward. For making it so easy. You're so arrogant. You thought you could control everything. Everyone. But you can't. Not anymore. I stand up, walking slowly to the door. I grab my bag, pulling out the folder I've been preparing for weeks, the one that's going to ruin him. Lila, please. Don't do this. We can fix this, okay? We can work through this. I shake my head. No. I don't think we can. You broke me, Marcus. You broke everything. I slip the folder onto the counter with a soft thud. He looks down at it. You should open it, I say. And he does. His face goes pale when he sees what's inside. The evidence is overwhelming. The burner phone's texts, emails, photos, hotel receipts, even the video I made. He stares at it like he's seeing a ghost. Lila, this isn't what it looks like, he stammers, but I've heard this before. I've heard all the lies. The excuses. The sob stories. You told me you wanted more excitement, I say, my voice soft. I gave you that. I gave you the life you wanted. And you still threw it away. For what? He opens his mouth, but nothing comes out. Here's the best part, I say. The police will be arriving soon. I've already made sure the evidence is in the right hands. You'll have time to explain yourself in front of a judge. Maybe even a jury. His face contorts. The panic rising in his chest. You can't do this. You can't. I already did, I say, cutting him off. The police arrive 30 minutes later, just as I promised. They don't knock. They don't waste time. Marcus tries to talk his way out of it, of course. Denial, lies, the whole routine. But they already have all the proof they need. His secrets were never as hidden as he thought. And now, his world is crumbling. I sit back on the couch, watching him. I'm calm. It feels like I'm floating. Detached, like I'm not even here. Like it's all a dream I can wake up from whenever I want. And Sophie? She texted me an hour ago. She's gone. Packed her things. Left without a word. I don't blame her. She got what she wanted. And I got what I needed. Marcus is arrested that afternoon. He'll be out on bail soon enough, of course. The wheels of justice turn slowly. But it's not about that. It's about the destruction. About the way his confidence shattered when he realized how little he mattered. That was the real win. I stand up and walk to the window. The sun is setting, painting the sky in orange and pink. I feel lighter now. Like a weight I've carried for years has finally been lifted. The game is over. And I won. The following weeks felt like a blur. The police, the paperwork, the calls with lawyers. Marcus was out on bail within a matter of days, but the damage had already been done. I couldn't say it was satisfying. I hadn't felt anything since the moment I handed over the folder. But there was one thing I knew for certain: the man I married, the man who thought he controlled everything, had lost everything. And now, it was my turn to move on. At least, that's what I told myself. I thought I'd be relieved, but something about the silence in the house felt wrong. Empty. I didn't know what to do with myself anymore. The house, once filled with Marcus's constant presence, his smirk, his lies, his manipulative touch, now felt suffocatingly quiet. Too quiet. One night, after the trial had started and Marcus had been too preoccupied with defending himself to even think about me, I received a call. It was Sophie. I'd almost forgotten about her. She had slipped out of my life quickly enough, disappearing like she'd never existed. "Lila," she said, breathless, like she'd been running. "I need to talk." I wasn't sure I wanted to hear it. "What's going on?" I think he's going to try something." "Marcus?" I asked, sitting up. My pulse quickened. "Yes. I think he's planning something big. I don't know what, but he's been talking to someone. A lawyer. Someone shady. And he keeps saying he can turn the tables on you. I just thought you should know." A smile crept onto my lips. "He doesn't know who he's up against." "I don't think he knows anything, Lila," Sophie said softly. "But I do." I didn't say anything for a while. Then I asked, "What do you mean?" "After you gave me the burner phone. I checked it. I found some things. Stuff that wasn't in your folder. Things he's been planning." My stomach twisted. "What do you mean?" There was a long pause. Then she whispered, "I don't think you've won yet." I spent the next few days digging into Marcus's life once more. Sophie had a point. He'd been too quiet, too focused on his defense. There was something off. I knew he wasn't done with me, not yet. I was right. One night, I sat in front of the computer, scrolling through Marcus's social media, his business contacts. Then, a message popped up, not from him, but from an unfamiliar number. "Unknown number. Let's talk. We know what you've been up to." My heart dropped into my stomach. I didn't reply right away. I stared at the message, wondering if this was another one of Marcus's moves. Was this another game? Another trap? After a few minutes, I typed back. "Lila. What do you want? Unknown number. We know about the folder. We know about the burner phone. But you don't have the full picture. You've only seen the beginning." I didn't breathe for a second. This felt different. This didn't feel like a threat from Marcus. It felt bigger. "Lila. Who is this? Unknown number. Let's just say, we have a vested interest in your husband's future. We're not the police. And we don't plan to let you win without consequences." I leaned back in my chair. This was no longer just about Marcus. Someone else had become involved. Someone who wanted to make sure I didn't have the last word. I didn't trust anyone at this point. Not Sophie, not Marcus, and especially not some anonymous voice. But there was something about the threat that felt real. I spent the next few days digging deeper. If I was going to be caught in someone else's game, I needed to know exactly who was behind it. I contacted Sophie again. She was nervous when she picked up the phone. "I don't know what's going on, Lila. I told you what I heard. I didn't mean for it to go this far." "Who else is involved?" I demanded. "What do you know?" I don't know," she stammered. "I haven't heard from him since I left. But I've been getting strange emails too. And strange texts. I thought it was just him trying to scare me. You've been in contact with them? I was furious. She hesitated. I don't know. Maybe. I just. You have to cut ties with Marcus, Sophie. He's not just dangerous. He's a liability. We are the ones who are still in control here, do you understand that? I hung up before she could say another word. The next few days were a blur of messages, threats, and vague warnings. I kept my distance from Marcus. I didn't want him near me. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that whatever game he thought he was still playing wasn't the one I was involved in anymore. I wasn't going to be a pawn. I wasn't going to be anyone's victim. But someone, somewhere, was still pulling strings. The stakes had been raised. And then came the knock on the door. I wasn't expecting the knock. It came late, just as I was turning off the lights for bed. I stood frozen in the dark for a moment. A soft, hesitant knock. Not like a salesman or a delivery. No. This was different. It felt deliberate. I walked cautiously to the door, my heart pounding in my chest. My hand hovered near the handle, but I didn't open it right away. It could be Marcus, coming to try his charm again. Or it could be the person behind the anonymous threats. Either way, I was prepared. I cracked the door open slightly, just enough to see who was standing there. A man in a suit. He wasn't familiar. I felt a cold chill run down my spine as he looked me over with dark, calculating eyes. His face was impassive, but there was a sharpness to his gaze that sent an immediate warning signal through my brain. "Can I help you?" I asked, my voice steady but tinged with suspicion. "My name's Gregory Vale," he said, holding up a business card. "I'm an investigator. I think you've been receiving some unwelcome attention lately." My pulse quickened. "Investigator?" "Come in," I said, stepping aside to let him in. He didn't waste time. He sat down immediately, pulling a folder out from under his arm. "I know this will be difficult, but you need to understand something, Lila. You're in the middle of something much bigger than just your husband." I didn't ask him how he knew my name, how he knew what was going on. At this point, nothing surprised me anymore. Everything had spiraled into chaos, and I couldn't deny I was now tangled in a web of people I didn't understand. "What's bigger than my husband?" I asked, my voice low. Dale opened the folder and slid a photograph across the table. It was a picture of Marcus. And another woman. But this woman wasn't Sophie. She was older. A familiar face. Someone who had been in my life years ago. My breath caught in my throat. It was Rebecca, his business partner. The one he had been so friendly with, the one who always seemed to smile just a little too brightly whenever he spoke about her. "Rebecca?" I whispered. "What is this?" Dale's eyes were calm, unreadable. "Rebecca isn't just his business partner, Lila. She's part of the reason you're being targeted. She's been playing a game of her own. And right now, she's a part of the reason someone's been watching you." My stomach sank. Rebecca. I should have known. The subtle glances. The way she always made sure to sit next to him at every event. I'd chalked it up to office politics, but now I saw it for what it was. She'd been involved. Dale continued. "Marcus isn't just an adulterer. He's in deep with people you don't want to know about. Rebecca isn't just after him, she's after you. They all are. And I can't promise you that you won't be dragged down with him if you stay in the middle of it." I leaned forward, my hands gripping the edge of the table. "What do you want from me?" "Information. I need you to help me stop this before it gets worse." The people behind your husband, they're more dangerous than you think. And I've been tracking them for a while now. Marcus doesn't know how deep the hole he's in goes. And you think I can help?" "Yes." I stared at him, considering the offer. I had no choice, really. If Marcus was tangled in something this dark, I couldn't sit by and wait for him to destroy everything I'd built. And if Rebecca was involved, I didn't even want to think about the lengths she might go to. "I'll help you," I said, my voice steady. "But if anything happens to me or my family, you'll be the first to regret it." Dale nodded, his expression never changing. "Understood." The next few days passed in a blur of paranoia and carefully executed plans. I kept my distance from Marcus, but the texts kept coming. I knew he was trying to reach out, trying to apologize in his usual manipulative way. But I wasn't buying it. I met with Vale again. He was a man of few words, but his eyes betrayed the urgency of the situation. The more he dug, the more I realized how much of Marcus's life had been a lie. Every business venture, every friendship, every claim to loyalty, it was all built on a foundation of deceit. "It's worse than I thought," Vale said after one of our meetings. "Rebecca is more than just a partner. She's in this up to her neck. And if we're going to stop this, we need leverage." "Leverage?" I echoed, confused. He slid a file across the table. I opened it, finding a series of financial records. Marcus's business dealings. Secret accounts. Bribes. Payoffs. "Rebecca's been laundering money for years," Vale continued, his tone growing darker. "But it's not just the money. She's been using Marcus to get to you. She wants everything, the business, the house, and the life you've built. And she's not going to stop until she has it all." I felt a rush of anger flood through me. This woman had been playing me for so long, pretending to be just another face in the crowd. But I knew better now. And I would make sure that no one took what was mine. By the end of the week, I had everything I needed. I knew where Rebecca would be, who her contacts were, and how she had been using Marcus to cover her tracks. But this wasn't just about taking her down. It was about showing Marcus the truth, that the person he had been lying to, betraying, and manipulating was finally in control. I wasn't the victim anymore. I was the one calling the shots. The night I finally confronted them was the night everything changed. For weeks, I'd been gathering evidence, tracing every lie, every deceit. I had become a ghost in my own life, detached, calculating. But now, with everything on the table, I could feel the weight of the final move pressing on my chest. I wasn't just going to take back control, I was going to make sure Marcus and Rebecca understood exactly what I was capable of. I had set everything up, planned it meticulously. The dinner at the restaurant. The one they thought was just another opportunity to manipulate me. They didn't know I was already 5 steps ahead. Marcus and Rebecca sat across from each other at the table, the usual air of superiority surrounding them. Rebecca, wearing that perfect smile that always made my skin crawl. Marcus, still trying to play the part of the charming, misunderstood husband. They had no idea what was about to happen. "Lila," Marcus greeted me with that fake warmth in his voice, the one I had learned to hate. "You look beautiful tonight." I smiled back, but it was cold. "Thank you, Marcus. I've been thinking a lot. About us. About everything." He leaned back, clearly relieved, thinking this was going to be another one of those conversations where he could manipulate me back into his grasp. But what he didn't realize was that I had already taken everything back. Rebecca, sitting beside him, shot me a look that was far too knowing. She must have known by now that I wasn't just here for the show. "You know, I've always wondered why you two have never been honest with me," I began, my voice calm, measured. "Why you thought I wouldn't figure it out. The burner phones, the meetings behind my back, the lies. It's almost impressive how much you thought you could get away with." Both of them froze. Marcus's smile faltered, and Rebecca's eyes flickered with uncertainty. But she quickly regained her composure, placing her glass of wine down and leaning forward. "What are you talking about?" Rebecca asked, her voice dripping with feigned innocence. But I saw it, the flicker of fear behind her eyes. "I'm talking about everything," I said. "You've been using him, haven't you? Marcus thought he was playing the game, but you've been the one pulling the strings all along." Marcus opened his mouth to say something, but I held up a hand to silence him. And you, I said, turning to Rebecca. You've been after him, haven't you? Using him to get closer to me, to get what I have. You don't care about him. You never did. Rebecca's face went pale. That's ridiculous, she muttered, but her hands were shaking now. You're paranoid. You don't know anything about me. Oh, but I do, I replied, the satisfaction starting to creep into my voice. I know everything. The accounts, the deals, the lies. You thought I didn't know, didn't you? But I've seen it all. And I'm done playing along with your little game. Marcus's eyes darted between me and Rebecca, the realization dawning on him slowly, but the arrogance in his voice hadn't fully disappeared. You're making a mistake, Lila. I've already told you, I can fix this. We can fix this. I smiled. No, Marcus. You've never had control. You thought you did, but you never did. Not over me. Not over your life. I stood up, my heart pounding in my chest, but it wasn't from fear. It was from something else. Something stronger. I've already talked to the police, I said quietly, watching his face pale. I've already sent them everything. The money laundering, the blackmail, the fraud. It's all in the file. The one I've been collecting for weeks. His jaw clenched, his eyes flicking to Rebecca, who looked like she was about to break down. Lila, please. Don't do this. You can't ruin everything. I shook my head slowly. You already did that, Marcus. You've been ruining everything for so long, I just didn't know it yet. But now I do. I took a deep breath, my hand steady as I prepared to deliver the final blow. I'm done. With both of you. And this is where it ends. Marcus shot to his feet, his anger rising, but there was no more fire in his eyes. Only fear. He knew I was serious now. He knew I had taken everything from him. His world was collapsing around him. Lila, please. I love you, he begged, his voice cracking. I didn't flinch. I didn't feel the weight of the words. I wasn't even hearing him anymore. No, Marcus. You never did. I turned to leave, and as I walked away, I heard him calling my name. I heard Rebecca trying to spin some last-minute excuse. But I didn't care anymore. The door to the restaurant clicked shut behind me. The world felt different, lighter. The last piece of my life with Marcus was finally gone, and I felt free. The next few days were a whirlwind. The police took everything seriously, far more seriously than I expected. The evidence was overwhelming. Marcus's entire business empire was built on lies. The people he had worked with weren't just his partners, they were criminals. And Rebecca? She was more than just an accomplice. She was the mastermind behind many of the schemes, pulling strings that Marcus hadn't even realized existed. Marcus was arrested that week, facing multiple charges. The money laundering, the blackmail, the fraud. All of it. And Rebecca? She tried to run, but it didn't take long before the authorities found her, too. Her world was falling apart, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. As for me, I was done. I had spent too long being tied down by lies, by manipulation, by people who never cared about me. It was over. I moved on. I rebuilt my life, piece by piece. The scars of the past never fully disappeared, but they didn't define me anymore. I was free. The end.